How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews back with a new brewery time. I've had one beer from these guys, and that was yesterday. Cartel Brewing and Blending. This is their coconut coffee porter, 7.2%. This comes courtesy of my boy Steven. Friends of his that opened a brewery in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And the first beer I had from these guys was a ginger lemon Pilsner. I dug it. I can get down with that. So it's a fun beer, and we'll see what this one has to offer. I have one other thing from these guys, I believe. He sent me off 3 Clouders, I believe. The other one is a maple syrup coffee porter, so breakfast porter, I should say. I wanted not something with maple syrup in it, let's put it that way. So label-wise, it's ghetto, so I dig it. Beer-wise, looks the part of a porter. Yeah, rich, dark color, kind of what I like my coffee to look like, colored head. So we're off to a good start. Yeah. Okay. Let's get a nose. Ooh. Man, that smells delicious. That smells really, 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 really good. Ooh, baby. I mean, it really does come off as a nice, slightly confectionery, and by that I mean milk and sugar and a heaping helping of coffee, coconut coffee. Because the coffee's there, but it's not super over-the-top bittering or acidic, so it might be cold brew, but I don't think so. It could just be the bittering of the roasted malts that I'm getting that's making me think it's not like a cold pressed or cold brew coffee. The coconut here is vibrant, meaningful, it's not getting to like Mounds level coconutty, but it's close. So the coconut's vibrant here, the coffee's vibrant here, but the most important part is the beer's still there. You get that roasted malt in there. It definitely comes off as a nice, rich, robust porter. Gotta say, the nose on this is pretty banging. Let's dive in. Cheers. That's good. That's good. Way less sweet than I thought it was gonna be. When you start smelling, you know, sweetness of the malt, and then you get the coconut, and you start thinking a little bit of kind of over-sweetened vibes. It's not. It's very much dry and bittering. If anything, it comes off a little bit more kind of like Irish dry stout as far as sweetness level goes. Even as far as mouthfeel and sweetness goes, it's a little bit more kind of Irish dry stout, but it's within porter. So I'm not going to sit here and kind of BJCP nerd the shit out of this thing. But it's nice. It's really nice. I like the level of the beer and the way the beer comes off with the roasted malts. The way the roasted malts inhibit a big chocolate component to the beer is quite nice. The coffee, meaningful. There's a bit of roast to it. I said that was kind of a combination of the roasted malts, the cold pressed coffee. I believe it's just a straight roasted coffee thing and not cold pressed thing, because there seems to be an additional layer of roast to it. I think one is from the malt and one is from the coffee. Comes off just as big, if not just a skosh bigger than the actual porter itself, but not so much that you lose the actual beer itself. And the same thing for the coconut here. Coconut comes off super organic, like a slightly toasted, kind of slightly sweetened kind of coconut. But again, not over the top. I mean, it's kind of hard to go over the top of coconut unless you use an extract, but that's not what's happening here. This is organic coconut. The only thing I'd probably just get a little bit kind of like hem-haw nitpicky about is mouthfeel on this. Because when I talk about porters, you know, I usually, one of the prerequisites for a really good porter for me is a really nice, silky, fluffy, creamy kind of mouthfeel. It kind of falls short of that, but that's a tall order a lot of times when you're using coffee and coconut. You know, coffee, if it's not super roasted coffee and the bean has a little oil left in it, that can kill some head and mouthfeel. Same thing with the oils and coconut, that can actually help kind of diminish that mouthfeel too. So it's not, I'm not knocking it for it. I wish it was there, but again, I understand why it's not, and it's not like it's a thin beer. It just lacks that super creamy fluffiness I've come to love and expect in very good porters. And that kind of segues perfectly into what I'm going to say is a really good porter. You know, without that mouthfeel, it's still freaking tasty. This is really, really good. 7 and change, right? 7.2. It drinks a little bit lower than that. but I don't mind it at all. I love the way the flavor kind of works in this. How everything is cohesive. It's all one singular kind of flavor profile. It's not like coconut's over here, coffee's over there, roasted malt's over there. And just a really pleasure to drink. I'm kind of scared about this because I want to drink this like really, really fast. It's a bit cold. The beer probably a little bit colder than I should have served it. Probably in the low or mid, no, high 40s. But being as hot and as, it's not all that sunny right now, but it was, and I did a bunch of yard work. I want something chuggable, and this is kind of coming off creepily chuggable in a very fun and tasty way. I like this quite a bit. Yeah. Again, a little bit more traditional when it comes to a beer style. I mean, coconut coffee porter is not like super traditional, but it's very much, it's not like a pastry attempt at that kind of flavor in a beer. And it's really good stuff. I'm impressed by the first two beers I've had from these guys. I'm really excited to dive into the third one. Especially and I mentioned this before, especially them being in Lancaster. There's not a lot of breweries that exist in Lancaster, and that's a good thing to see them down there. So can't wait to actually visit these guys once COVID is gone. Anyway, back to this beer. One more sip and we'll close it up. Really well done porter. I like the way the coffee plays, I like the way the coconut plays. Everything here is present. Beer is still kind of omnipresent in the whole thing. It's not being taken over by those two adjuncts. Super delicious. The only thing I would add is a little bit more mouthfeel, but other than that, pretty fantastic stuff. One of the better porters I've had as of late, yes. Value and availability on this, no idea. Steven, let me know it's what. And leave you with, if you like what we like this. If you like porters, you like coconut, because who the fuck doesn't like coconut? And, you like your coffee beers. I mean, this is a coffee beer, this is a coconut beer, and this is a porter. It's all those things, not just one of those is not leaning so heavy in one direction that it's like a coffee beer with coconut and it just happens to be a porter. No, it's a porter, it's a coconut beer, and a coffee beer. Hopefully that makes sense. I think that's a very fun thing. So if you like those things, you'll like this beer. So there you go. Review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive beers. If you want to check me out doing the social media stuff, Beer Massif. If you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of Cartel right now. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers.